Hello everybody, greetings, welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph, I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back with a mini-series that we've been doing now. This is day 3 of the In the Alternate Universe. So for those of you who are new and are not sure what we're doing here, just want to make sure I have the right prop. We are doing a series in which I've taken 5 progressive rock bands, taken away their lead vocalist, and replaced them with one of the other lead vocalists from one of the other bands. I did this by rolling dice, and the highest roller got put into that band. So it's kind of random. It wasn't pre-planned or anything. And I've come up with a kind of concept about how this all would have worked out. So this idea actually came from the Marvel Comics of the Watcher. For those of you who don't know the Watcher, he's a chromed dome, big celestial being who watches all different realms to see what things happen. And Marvel wrote a series called What If, in which you get certain events happen. What if the invaders had never been, that type of thing. In this case, it's what if Gentle Giant did not have Derek Shulman as their vocalist, this band. What if their vocalist turned out to be Greg Lake? Does that really change the sound? I think this may be the biggest change of the 3 so far. So you've got Greg Lake, who coincidentally is a bit of a multi-instrumentalist himself, both guitar, bass. I think he plays quite a few different types of guitars as well. In the case of this band, you've got Ray and Phil Shulman. Now that Derek's gone, there's just the 2. Gary Green on guitars, primarily. Kerry Minier on keyboards and other multi-instrumentalists as well. And in the initial stage, you got also Martin Smith on the drums. So does this change this band? I think it has to change the band. Greg Lake's vocals are very different than Derek Shulman was. Greg Lake also plays the bass, so unlike, I believe actually Derek Shulman does play the bass. He plays guitar as well, but he is basically a vocalist in Gentle Giant, playing instruments here and there and doing whatever is in, but he's not primarily, he's the vocalist. And initially I think he was multi-instrumentalist and vocalist, but they also had other people vocaling too. So with Greg Lake coming in. Now, Greg Lake is a much stronger sounding vocal and a deeper range than Derek Shulman as well. Also, he tends to like more kind of a commercial sounding, a little bit more of a commercial sound to his music than other members of Emerson, Lake and Palmer did. So, does he change this band? I think he has to change this band. I think it's a different band with him in it. Plus, he is primarily a bass player with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And here, they already have Ray Shulman doing the bass. He's the strong bass. So does Ray Shulman kind of give up some ground there to the bass, and maybe he just plays the violin or some other instrument that he likes to play instead? Maybe he becomes more like Phil. So you got Phil and Ray both playing multi-instrumentalists here. They both sing not Ray doesn't sing, but Phil sings, Kerry Minier sings. Do they continue to sing here? Is that the direction I want to go? Is Greg Lake going to be okay with them singing and taking up vocal spots that he does? I think Greg Lake is a pretty easy to get along with guy. I've not seen any indication that he isn't. It's not somebody I ever think of as being difficult. I think he would work well here with these guys because they're all like him, multi-instrumentalists. Now, if I'm correct, I believe that Emerson wrote most of the music with Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and that Palmer and Lake also wrote, but not as much. I could be wrong here because I'm not a Emerson, Lake and Palmer aficionado. I do know a little bit more about Gentle Giant. I think he would fit in here well. Now, would their music sound the same? Yeah, I think it would have some of the same similar elements because you have all these guys playing multi-instrumentalists and he's just one more guy doing that. But I don't think you'll have the kind of bombastic keyboard sound that you're going to get with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Kerry Minnear is not the bombastic type. He plays a ton of stuff and he plays it all well. He's really good, one of the best multi-instrumentalists I know. But I don't know that he's as dominating forwards and crazy sound making as Emerson was. So I think this band may sound similar to the way they already do, but you won't have, you'll still have Phil and Kerry doing their little bits here and there, which are kind of more laid back, although Phil's a little bit more forward in his vocals than Kerry Minnear. But Greg Lake is much more dominating, so maybe you get a lot more of that harmonizing vocalization that you would have got with Derek, only it's going to be of a different kind of a quality and sound. Now, is their music going to stay in the kind of odd range that they're in, or maybe it becomes a little bit more mainstream? Maybe actually Greg Lake, because of his ability to do that, helps this band overcome that time period at the end of their career where they tried to become commercial sounding and weren't able to do it with any kind of success. Maybe he pushes them beyond it. Maybe they stay together longer. Who would write the lyrics here? Well, I think you're probably going to get pretty much the same people writing the lyrics, but Greg Lake will join in and write lyrics as well. And you've got the music. He'll also contribute equally there. I don't think he's going to be as a kind of a dominant kind of guy that's going to push them all aside and do what he wants. I think he will work well with them. I think he will. How long can this go on? Well, Gentle Giant, the original band, had some of the best progressive rock albums of all time. The first 6, 7, maybe even 8 albums were fantastic. And then they decided they needed to, I think it was more Derek than the others, decided they wanted to make a commercial jump and they just couldn't do it, so they folded. Gary Green has gone on record as saying that they could have stayed together and could have continued to have a successful career doing what they were doing. Maybe they wouldn't have been a huge band, but they would have still done well, making a good living doing what they like to do. But Derek Shulman didn't want to do that. He wanted that success, and so that was Gary Green's turn on it. So when they get to that same point here, and I think they will produce 6 or 7 really solid kind of instrumentation albums here with lots of really complex time signatures and complex music and intricate stuff. I think that will continue. Greg Lake will fill in there. His voice will add a different element, a darker, deeper element to their range. But when they get to that point, when they decide that they want to make that jump, maybe the music is slightly different with Greg, and they don't need to make change. They can make that jump without doing it. But maybe if they get to that same point and they can't make that jump, and they try that commercial stuff, maybe his influence in that area makes a difference, and they jump that over that ledge and make it into that commercial realm. Is that a good thing? You tell me. Would they keep the name? I think they would keep the name. I don't see there being any reason to change the name. He was with King Crimson before he went with Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and he didn't change the name of King Crimson. Mind you, that was dominated by Robert Fripp, so that might be the case there too. How long could this go on? Well, if they had some commercial success, maybe they stay together and it goes on infinitely until the same as a lot of these bands. Or maybe the guys, after they have some success, decide they don't really like that and want to go back to what they were doing. And then they have friction because some of them won't want to go back because they're making money and others will. Now, does Martin Smith, he'll probably be replaced by Malcolm Mortimer. And Malcolm Mortimer, because he had an injury, he'll probably be replaced by John Weathers, Pugwash. and then you have another vocalist in there. So I don't think any of those things, I don't think Greg Lake coming in changes any of that. I just think that he adds a different sound and an element to their music that perhaps is good for them ultimately if they go commercial or not. And so for me, I think they ultimately will go commercial and try going commercial again, and it will succeed. And then after that, they will continue along that way for a while until, like every other band who gets tired of that commercial sound, either breaks up and they go their separate ways, or they go back to what they used to play, like in the case of Yes. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of In the Alternate Universe. If you did, please hit like and subscribe, and any comments about what I've talked about today, you can do that in the comment section below. Do you think this is a reasonable hypothesis in an alternate universe, or do you think I'm way out in left field and don't get it at all? It's not like I haven't been out there before. So anyways, please hit the notification bell so you don't miss episode 4 tomorrow. And if you haven't seen the first 2 episodes, you can go back on the link at the end and see both of them as well. So take care and have yourself a good day. Bye.